They don't.
I like people shaking hands. I like civility. We're all, at the end of the day, we all want to be loved. We all need to be loved. We want to be protected, connected, respected. There's humanity here. There's also respect. President of the United States, I think Trump should shake Biden's hand.
And Biden should.
I'd like to, but look, if we're getting into this nitty gritty, we've run out of punditry pre-debate.
Well, I mean, but we know the optics matter. And part of the reason they matter, Governor, is because so many people are watching just for what MJ Lee's saying. They want to see that the President of the United States is of sound mind, that he isn't feeble, that
I also want to see
people are
someone
watching for that.
Yeah, and look, you want someone who's also confident, walks in, President Biden is confident.
Yep.
He's got a record, and he's got a vision for the future. So walking in confidently, shaking a hand, I think our kids are watching as well. I prefer a world like that. That's personal. That's not me talking on behalf of the kid.
Okay, but you have spent time with him. You and I were just talking. I was with him in Wisconsin weeks ago, but you were with him last week in LA at that rally where that video went viral, where President Obama, kind of took his arm and took him off the stage. So you were there.
Yeah, it's the weaponization of these clips. It was ridiculous.
That's not
I was with him for hours and hours on the photo line with President Obama. He had just flown back from the G7. He had a stopover, barely slept. No one could have kept that schedule. He did a wonderful job in private with all the donors, with surrogates, did an amazing job on stage. As I said, I was 4 feet away. That was ridiculous. And it goes to the weaponization of the moment and the situational nature of politics at this moment. But I get it. Those things matter. We've got to confront those. We've got to be aggressive in that response. Tonight's that opportunity.
All right, so immigration most certainly will be a topic tonight. All right, we've just learned that border crossings are down since
40%.
Down 40%. There's still about 2,000 a day.
Yeah.
Earlier this month, there were 8 Tajik nationals, as you know, who were arrested. They were arrested as they had gotten as far as LA, Philadelphia, and New York, and they were arrested because the FBI had concern about an imminent attack in at least one of those cities.
That's right.
How does the president defend that?
Well, I'm the governor of the largest border state in America, which has the largest land port in the Western Hemisphere. This is not an issue that intellectually I'm curious about. It's one we live every single day. I put the National Guard down at the border. I've been an advocate for the bipartisan border deal that President Biden negotiated that was advanced, that included, by the way, interestingly, $650 million the border wall, 4,300 asylum officers, 1,500 Border Patrol members, as well as 10,000 new detention beds, and Trump killed it. And his surrogates killed it. Speaker Johnson killed it. They had the opportunity to address it. So Biden did what he needed to do with the EO, and it's already proven to create results. But we need something more than just border reform. We need comprehensive immigration reform.
All right, so, but on this front, I mean, I just had these Tajik nationals again.
Yeah.
And the FBI had actually wanted to monitor them and figure out what their networks were. Yeah. They weren't able to do that because they were so worried that there was an imminent attack. That's at least what they're telling us.
But it goes to the broader issue of the border. It's been politicized. The day the president got into office, he put out a comprehensive border strategy. The Republicans wanted nothing to do with it.
7 million illegal border crossings since he took office.
Exactly right.
7 million people.
That's right.
Is that not his failure too?
I think it's the failure of Congress to work with the President of the United States. The President put out a plan, responsibility of the executive to put out a plan, and they refused to negotiate. They refused to take action. And two of the biggest cowards were people like Lindsey Graham, people like Marco Rubio, were part of the Gang of Eight in 2013, had the courage of their conviction to work with Democrats to address this issue. The President of the United States was willing to do that. They said no, and he still stuck with it, had a bipartisan deal that he negotiated that addressed a lot of their concerns. He moved farther than most, and Trump refused to do it because he wants it to be an issue tonight. He wants it to be an issue over the next many nights through this campaign for political benefit, period, full stop.
But those 7 million people.
That's right.
President Biden, I understand what you're saying about the bill, and that bill would have done something about it. I hear you. But then the buck stops with him, and he could have done something much sooner. He could have done the CO. He didn't, and people came over. We don't know exactly when those Tajik nationals came over. We don't know who else came over. I mean, do you have a fear about some of those people among those 7 million?
As I say, I'm a border state governor. I put close to 400 National Guard down at the border to address counter-drug issues, to address the issue of fentanyl, human trafficking, and smuggling at the border. I take that very seriously. We've put migrant facilities together. That should be the job of the federal government to support those efforts. Okay. Republicans in Congress refuse to support those efforts and continue to play politics. Of course, we're all, at the end of the day, society becomes how we behave. We are our behaviors. Democrats, Republicans, members of Congress, past and current. The last comprehensive immigration reform was someone familiar to Californians, and that was Ronald Reagan in 1986. I would like the Republican Party to be more like Reagan, a little less like Trump.
So obviously you work with Biden, you're supporting him, you're here as a surrogate tonight. You also worked with Trump, and you got along with him.
Yeah.
And you have both talked about it. I'll play for everyone.
Oh. It was
So
anomalous.
could you work with him again?
Well, we'll see. He's calling me new scum. He's really elevated. I think my 7th grade friend called me new scum. That's the elevation of the maturity of Donald Trump as he's gotten older. But look, I'll work with anyone that wants to work to advance the cause of this country, my state, and the world we're trying to build. That goes back to the civility of shaking someone's hand. I'm just not that person. Open hand, not closed fist. We vehemently disagree with one another. I live in the most un-Trump state in America. We were involved in 122 lawsuits against the Trump administration. But when it came to COVID, when it came to wildfires and floods.
He delivered for you.
Well, he delivered because we had to go a long way to kiss the proverbial ring. That's the difference between this guy. And that's what you're seeing. It's a bit of a kleptocracy of sorts. That's what he's running right now. Look at the folks that are doing these fundraisers for him. It's all about what they can carve out to get in return for themselves. Trump, yes, I know it's a talking point for us, all about himself. Everybody knows that, including his supporters. But he's carving out those with means, including making deals for $1 billion on oil and gas, and I'll take care of your regulations in public. This is corruption of the highest order, and we will always call that out. At the same time, I'll work with anyone that will work with us.
All right, well, Governor Newsom, I appreciate your time.